All right, guys, we're going to talk about personality. Oftentimes in mental performance, you talk about motivation, confidence, talk about reaction time, decision-making, memory, the list goes on. But personality usually is not brought up because most people don't even fully understand the concept of personality. Now, we're going to talk specifically about extroversion. There's other traits, but this one's pretty important when it comes to sport performance. Now, extroversion gets misconstrued a lot. Most people think it just means you're either outgoing or to yourself. But it really is more so about where do you gather your most energy. And when I say energy, meaning how do you feel when you're in these settings, these situations? Because obviously someone can be introverted, but then they can go speak in front of people. Doesn't mean they're always going to be to themselves in a shell, but they may not feel that energized, meaning they could be exhausted, drained, like they just ran a marathon after they spoke in front of those people. While a person who's extroverted, they're going to want to keep going. They get a good feeling. They feel hyped up. I want to talk to more people. Now, that's where people always mess up as you're one or the other. That's called type theory. Type theory is when we're just one type. You're either this or you're that. And that's not how we work as humans. We're always going to fall on a spectrum. We're never going to be on one side or completely the other. We're typically going to be a little closer to one or the other, but we can always balance which one. Now, if I'm more on this side of the spectrum, I'm probably going to have trouble being to myself a lot. Doesn't mean I can't do it, but my mind, my body, everything's going to be awry. Now, vice versa, if I'm on this side of the spectrum of introversion, I'm probably going to feel a little awkward or less likely to be outgoing in extroverted situations. But when it comes down to training your athletes or your clientele, you want to take into account where they fall, because if you have an athlete that's simply not that extroverted, putting them on the spot, hey, go demonstrate this drill, or go with this teammate and do this, they might be put in an uncomfortable situation. Granted, you got to grow out of these things in a sense, but if you understand their personality better, you have a better approach to how to deal with them. Because at the end of the day, your relationships with your athletes, your clientele in general, that's going to make the difference on how to respond to your coaching, how you can do other things, whether it be sport performance, strength conditioning, or just be overall team leadership. Now, a specific part of extroversion on a scale called the HEXACO model that we use is social boldness. I specifically picked this one out because this trait exemplifies a lot of what athletes would want to have. Leadership skills. This person who's very high in social boldness is more likely to lead the team or the group. They can speak well in social situations, and they can relay their thoughts officially to the team. Now, if there's something to be said where the team can benefit, the social bold person is going to speak up and say, hey guys, we need to think about this. Coach might appreciate if we did that. This way, the team has to rely on someone. This is the person they want to go to. But identifying these traits is not always that simple, because a lot of the times the athletic identity, which is a whole other topic we'll talk about another time, associated with performing, shows these traits a lot. So either they're going to try to fake it till they make it, or over exaggerate being a leader. You know, not everyone's going to be the first one to step up, and that's okay. Obviously, they got to get to a point where they get more comfortable with it. If you can put them in situations to get them more acclimated to things, then you can kind of ease them into the point where they can adapt. Because on the flip side, if you're dealing with a person low on social boldness, you don't always want to put them in the spotlight and the fire. This can have effects on the actual performance, because when you think about it, what is sport? What is performance? Completing a bunch of different tasks in front of a lot of people who you may or may not know. And this can be very difficult even for the highest person in social boldness. So think about that when you're approaching coaching styles with your athletes. Where's their personality lie? Remember, it's not just one or the other. They're going to fall somewhere on this spectrum, and depending on the situations, they're going to be able to act more efficiently when it's closer to their style. But if they need to be, they can learn different ways. They can do things that have to put them in the spotlight a little more frequently, volunteering in class, doing extra things after practice as a team. That way they can get used to being around more people, get comfortable by stepping up and speaking in front of everybody. Now, if they're already high in social boldness, you already got someone who can lead the others by example. So think about these things, like I said, and get your mind right.